Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I want to do is I want to talk to my chosen ones about how you must keep your defenses airtight around beings, places, frequencies that do not mention or discuss the Creator. They ain't talking about the Creator, God, Allah. You better not ever put your guard down. Because 10 times out of 10, that's a weaker vessel and they're being used by the opposition, you know. And just recently, I kind of been pondering this because I was running some social experiments myself, you know what I mean? So we had this time in YouTube where social experiments was kind of like fun. You do them for pranks, jokes, and all of these things. But when you look at the seriousness of it, it's being done every day, you know, to see if certain medicines work, to see if certain poisons, how fast it's knocking us and killing us down. It's a lot of social experiments running. So it's no need for the big hats to do them and then us not be able to do them ourselves. And then once you've been in this battlefield for a while, you know what I mean? You learn how to take a blow on the chin so that way you can deliver a haymaker and get that opponent out the way. But what I've been processing recently with doing one of my recent social experiments is that I always say it doesn't matter what age the being or entity is. If they have been broken at birth or throughout their upbringing, they are going to stay broken. If they are afraid to remove themselves from them handlers, either your parents, your aunts, your uncles, whoever it was that raised you, they will not be leaving that space. It has become so evident and apparent that if people aren't rocking with the Creator, you shouldn't even second guess that they over on the other playbook. If you're giving someone insight how to get connected with Source or get more connected with Source, they should be willing to intake that insight, trying to figure out how to learn. It's weird to me when I'm not a little child anymore and I've been in this space I've been in for some years now, you know? So it was different for when I met people before 2015. Before 2016, 2017 was cutting it close. But anybody that's meeting me now, especially if they meeting me in this space, if you met me through my channel anywhere, it's mind-blowing how some of these witches, they'll pull up to try to test to see how strong their magic is, and they'll test my boundaries and borders to see if I'm really solid in the space that I'm in. I haven't failed any of those tests yet, but they still continuously try. It's always mind-blowing to me that someone is trying to get connected with Source or even get a better feel for you, but they don't ever ask you any questions. I've had 2 people that I've ran into recently within the past, since August. So like 6, 7, 8, 9 months. I don't know, somewhere between it. Y'all could do the count. One person I met in person. I engaged with them, boom, I gave them my information, they reached out, they didn't know anything about my channel and everything that I be doing, right? The other person reached out to me, they saw my content and was like, oh, I want, whatever their reasons is, blah, blah, blah. 2 different spaces, they both produce the same outcome. They both are extremely close to their handlers. They both don't have no connection with Source. One of them is just I work and I don't do anything. The other one is quote unquote into tarot reading and all of that other, you know, the weird stuff. What I realized with most tarot readers, I'm not saying all, because I would never say the tarot cards is bad, just like I wouldn't say the Bible is bad or the Quran is bad. It's not the tools that's bad, it's the entities using them. But what I realize in today's age is a lot of these new agers that's into the spiritualism, they don't ever relay their information back to Source. Like, this new person spent more time trying to tell me about astrology and to tell me about what other beings are saying about my signs and my house is rising and falling and doing all this weird shit. And I'm just thinking to myself, I know me extremely well. We've been talking for a little bit. How could you not possibly have no questions for me? These are beings who feel they have all the answers already. These are beings who insecurities and all their lack of self-esteem and self-awareness, these beings are extremely low vibrational. The situations I had with both of them, one of them had tried to tell me when I was in the process of not being responding to them and they wanted a reaction, they tried to tell me, oh, it felt like I was talking to a female, or it was very feminine. I was just thinking to myself like, damn, I would have been masculine if I punched you in the face. Those word spells don't work on me. I've been a man my entire life. I've never been violated. So that kind of stuff, when witches say those kind of things, it doesn't bother me. And then the second one had made a statement about I shouldn't be so reactive. But in all actuality, when they was trying to arouse a reaction out of me, I was already in test mode. So now that I'm in test mode and I'm seeing everything as it's transpiring, I'm actually putting myself outside of my body. My body is taking the blows because it's in it. I'm putting myself outside of my body and I'm looking at the situation transpire so I can get a deeper understanding of the enemy. They come in all shapes, forms, and sizes. You know what I mean? These past two, they was younger, so we could talk about the age range of these things, about people being younger, people being older. But in my walk of life, what I understand is, if you are still hand to hand with your handler, there is no change or transitioning going to happen. Especially if you still living in the house with them. Both of these beings both lived at the house with their handlers still, and they both had an extremely toxic, dramatic relationship, you know. But it was just more so of a social experiment because they both walked two different lives, you know, but they both present the same playbook. It's this entitlement, it's this I cannot be wrong, this is this I need to manipulate your energy every chance I get. And to me, it's like, how much demonic manipulation, how much unhealthy manipulation do you have to do? Manipulation is used on a healthy spectrum, it's used on an unhealthy spectrum. You know, demonic, more righteous. But a lot of times when we use the word manipulation, we're usually talking about it in an unhealthy, demonic manner. We manipulate things all day, you know what I mean, in a healthy manner. I've had people do productive things for the Creator that they didn't want to do, and I knew that they didn't want to do it because it was like, after they had done it, they had this weird, energy. I'm just going to call it because I'm tired of trying to always find the right words to justify what I'm trying, or to bring clarity to what I'm trying to say. Not justify. You ain't justify none of that over here. But when they are in these spaces, what I like to do now is I practice on how to invest myself in studying, because you can study through technology. You can study through, you know, watching other people, listening to other people. You can study through books, you know. I've always been a hands-on kind of being. So for me, I had to learn how to I had to learn how to minimize my emotions. The best way I learned, for me and still growing, the best way to minimize my emotions when I'm engaging with people is throughout my time engaging with them, I have to be mindful not to invest too much emotionally. Because sometimes when I'm helping people, I become a little bit more emotionally invested than what I started out. This was why I've been in this space for a while now, so I'm much better now. So they could like try to ghost, not respond, do these things. It wouldn't make a difference, you know what I mean? I still got a male associate of mine I haven't talked to in weeks, ever since me and him had this weird engagement, which I ain't mad at it. Me and him done bumped heads so many times. It's like, bro, I already know what playbook you use, and I just used to give you the benefit of the doubt because of the experiences we shared throughout life. You know what I mean? But outside of that, I already know. But a lot of people that's operating out here in this realm, they are not connecting themselves or their information with source. Like the other person was so bent up on tarot reading and like these cards and like the information that's coming from, I'm just like, you are constantly putting on videos and trying to tell me about me when you got me right here in real time and you found me through YouTube. It's like they always have to figure out some way to kind of feel like they're in an upper position and like they're better or something. But it's like, for one, you a female, you found me in my purpose, you should be willing to follow. That's point blank, period. You know what I mean? If you coming in my space and you bring in manipulation tactics, then I'm already going to know how I'm supposed to carry it with that vibration. This isn't my first time. It ain't my first rodeo, and it won't be my last rodeo. And I say all that to say, like, a lot of us get mixed up with communicating with people and thinking because they're being nice, or they figured out how to use their words to jig around certain areas and things like that. We feel as though they could possibly be operating with the Creator. But 10 times out of 10, if you're a Christian, you usually are speaking a lot of God and Jesus. That's just how it works. If you're a Muslim, you usually speaking of a lot of Allah. You speaking about the Quran. You know, depending on which religion you are assigned to or that you co-signed, you know, it's what you're going to speak the most of. I don't co-sign any religion. So I usually, for me over here, I usually say the Creator and the source. The Creator, the source. I don't mind using, you know, God, Allah. It's all the same to me, just a different language, you know. Some people over here call squirrels squirrels, and then some people in part of another world probably call them laurels, you know, squirrel backwards. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I probably said that all wrong. But either way, the wordplay is just us as humans, well, having a human experience, how we identify things out here and how we're able to correlate the spiritual realm back in with this physical realm. So understanding these things, it's like, it'll save you so much time when you out here engaging with people. I've always opened everything up when I start engaging with people. I figure out if they vibe with the Creator or not. If they do, we gonna do some growing. Usually most people are not correlating their information with the Creator, you know. So if people want to, if they see me and my daughter and there's a situation at hand, they aren't gonna say, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go talk to his daughter because, you know, he only got one daughter and that's the one that's, you know, he's sacrificed out for us. I don't know that, and I wouldn't say that. Most men is gonna sacrifice themselves over their child. So even that ideology of, you know, a man sacrificing his son is still a little bit mind-blowing to me, because as a man, I'm sacrificial for the ones around me. It's a lot of things that be stuffed into these books that I just skip past, and if you still vibing with the light, I'm still gonna ride and fight for you. But just be mindful of these things. You know, if you would never kill your son so you can live to prosper and do things, then why would you perceive things as, you know, the Creator or God gave his only begotten son? In my world, the Creator would have made that sacrifice in another way opposed from giving their only son. Like, that's new life. So it's all a weird process for me. But what I understand is the ones who are religious, you know, that follows these books, the Quran, you know, Christianity, the Bible, and all these things, the ones who's really tapped in those religions, they speak more of God. You'll hear Jesus, but they speak more of God. The ones who's practicing these other religions, you hear them speak more of their gods. The people who's in this new age, spirituality, we speak of the Creator and the source. But with a lot of these other beings that's into like this new openness space of, you know, if you want to be a cat, you could be a cat. If you want to be a dog, you could be a dog. That's not connected with source or the Creator. So you just have to be mindful of how much you emotionally invest, and then how much you are engaging with this being, as far as, because they're constantly going to be looking for something to kind of keep you in tune. So like my thing is like I told the last person, I've dealt with a lot of tarot readers. You met me. I'm not a tarot reader. I don't do that shit. But every day they're constantly trying to read me tarot cards or tarot information. They're constantly trying to put on some damn astrology video. And I'm like, you don't know how to grow shit. You don't know how to grow shit. You don't know seeds. You don't know soil. So why are you talking to me about astrology? And if the system shut down right now, you would not be useful. Besides being a female and being able to reproduce. Outside of that, you would serve no other purpose to any community or tribe. Because you're so far out over there talking to the moon. You talking to the moon, that you don't even understand what's going on down here when the sun is out. The sun is out. The sun shines the light on all God's creations, all the Creator's creations. That's why when the sun goes down, you don't have much visibility as far as how far you can see and what you can see. See, a lot of beings that's in this new spiritual shit, right? They figured out a way to use their words to where it makes sense, but it's really confusing. So when people are giving you this weird stuff like, yeah, I'm in the new spiritually, I don't believe in, I don't follow any religions and blah, 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 then they better be giving you information on how they connected with source. You know what I mean? A lot of people is talking to all these weird entities in the spiritual realm and they don't even know who they dealing with. If you was dealing with the sources, warrior soldiers that's vibing over here in the spiritual realm, you wouldn't be getting this confusing information. It wouldn't be going against natural law. And a lot of people don't be wanting to speak up or say anything about it, but for me, it's like, man, I've been fighting my whole damn life. How they say that? All my life, I had to fight. So for me, it don't make a difference. I used to wake up, catch some wreck before school, right when we getting on the bus. I might get to school, catch some wreck, you know what I'm saying? That's when I'm younger, so I think of all of the physical altercations. But as I got bigger, the spiritual war, man, I be busting ass in this spiritual war. I'm not saying that these entities ain't working and doing their own thing out here and, causing a little havoc in my life, because they do. But I've experienced this so much that I know how to maneuver around certain obstacles. I know when certain walls and things are too big and it becomes too much. I know that I got the source right here vibing with me, riding with me. And I can process and use my fruits that the source has always got me through every situation, where I'm even here to be able to stand solid to talk about this kind of information. It's a million, billion people that could be getting us all hip to this weird manipulation in this word spells and, this entrapment, enslavement that's going on out here. But a lot of people rather dance around and try to make a couple dollars out of it. You know what I mean? And for me, I ain't never been no joker, but I like to have fun. You know what I mean? Just be mindful of these things. If a lot of people are talking and saying they're growing, then they should be connecting the information to source. Whichever religion you claiming, you're gonna make sure that it is connected to that source. If you are Muslim, it's going to be connected to there at its highest forms. If you're Christian, connected there at its highest forms. Buddhism, highest form. Jewish, highest forms. You know what I mean? All of these, Catholic, it's always going to be at its highest forms. So this is one way you'll be easily to tell that people who are faking the New Age spiritualism, these are just really self-aware witches. You have a lot of self-aware witches. They know that they're entitled. They know that they're insecure. They know that they are hyper, overly masculine. They are dominant beings. All of these are traits of this demonic playbook over here. Every single bit of it. So once you start understanding these things, it'll all make more sense and you'll be able to correlate everything a lot smoother. You know what I mean? But just be mindful of these things. They are constantly working their spells and they have to change it up all the time. This is why acting has become such a big thing. A lot of these demonic beings over here, they don't feel empathy for when they do you wrong. But what they do is they've seen enough movies that they know how to respond when somebody is projecting that they feel a certain type of way. These movies has taught people how to act. Even the people who are not acting in movies getting paid, it showed the rest of the demons how to act. Y'all gotta be willing to dive deep. You know what I mean? You gotta be willing to dive deep. You shouldn't be knowing how to act before you even learn about yourself and source, because then you're basically starting off completely disconnected. You already starting off painting a different ideology, creating a different being or player or character to play out in this realm. You can do these things. Just make sure that you've mastered your avatar and your energy and motion, because this was given to you. You know what I mean? But I ain't want to run up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.